Hey guys, it's Monday night and I'm Molly Sanuart. It's Started with Molly and it's just me. So I wasn't going to go live because my sister wasn't around. And it's always more fun with Blair. But I have to work anyways because I'm working for Arts in the Park. And everybody said that they wanted me to go live, so I'm going to go live. And tonight I'm just planning to trim a bunch of stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Hey, waves back at you. So I'm just going to start by trimming some bowls. I guess. I love trimming. My mom said she likes to watch trimming. So hopefully y'all like to watch trimming, even though it's throwing with Molly, but it's not really throwing with Molly because it's just, hey, oh, I love y'all's waves. So I've been throwing a lot of these colored clay swirls. First watch, welcome. Thanks for watching. This place is going to be a mess in just a little bit. But before it gets to be a mess, welcome. So yeah, I'm just going to trim. I love going live because I can answer all of your questions just by talking to you. I get a lot of messages and I love your messages. But I prefer just to chat it out. So yeah, I'm just trimming some bowls. It's going to be a mess. Waves. Hey, Earthing. And I'm trying to make a lot of berry bowls and mugs. And I've got some bird baths coming. Turkey! Love Turkey. I'm going to go back to Turkey. I went to Istanbul once. Do you ever collect your own harvested clay? Never done that. Love a good question. I've never collected my own clay. Just get it already bagged up and ready to go. Love a good question. But I do love trimming. And these are always fun because you never really know what they're going to look like until, not only have they been trimmed, but until they've been fired. So yeah, I'm just trimming tonight. Going to try this Sunday, creek time. Oh, good luck. I had a student, well I didn't have a student, but we had a student at my school who he went and found all of his own clay. And he made all of his own pots and cups and plates. He even made his own clothes. And then he grew his own grains, and then he made his own bread that he baked in his own oven that he built. So I've seen it be done. I just have not done it. Oh, and I love y'all's questions, so if I miss it, just ask me again. I just missed it. When did you start using colored clay in your pieces? Maybe like 2 years ago? Is this the blue swirls? Yes, these are the blue swirls. I made these this weekend. This is the second batch. I've been a lot of people seem to like the swirls, and I like the swirls, so I'm trying to make a couple batches for Arts in the Park. I don't know if any of y'all have been to Arts in the Park in Richmond. It's so fun. My 2-year-old is obsessed with your videos. Awesome. Good night. It is a lot of kids' bedtimes right now. Good night, little kids. This is cool to watch. Oh, good. Thanks for watching. What is the ratio for color, powder to clay? For it to really show. So it just depends on the color. I never measure anything. I'm not a very detail-oriented person. So there's that. I just kind of sprinkle it in. And then you kind of learn as you go. So like then you learn and you do it again. Fry Kate, how do you recalibrate the Giffin grip and how often? Yeah, sometimes I realize that mine's a little wonky. I don't really ever recalibrate it. In fact, I don't even know that I read the directions to do that that's like a thing. Sometimes if it acts weird, I might dump out any shavings that have gotten stuck in it. But recalibrating it, maybe we can talk about that when you come for your experience. I'm really excited about that. So I like the Giffin grip though because I can always just like check my weight. But guess what, guys? All of these bowls, and see now it's going to be a little off center because my bowl's a little off. I just kind of keep going with it. Love all these thumbs up. So all of these are actually going to be berry bowls, I think. I've got to see how many I have. So I'm working really hard for Arts in the Park. It's in Richmond. It's like the most fun outdoor day. Oh, what's your favorite thing to make? Bowls. I love bowls. Have you ever tried to do miniature pots? I made some bud vases. Those are kind of miniature. But I like bowls and plates and things I can eat out of because I like cooking and I like food. And hey girl, hey Carl. Love the new swirl color. Thanks, Carl. Sorry we didn't get to hang out this weekend. Soon enough. How can you recycle the same clay until it's usable? So I posted lots of videos. I get all my clay really mushy. I just add some water to the bucket. And then I put it on some plaster and let it dry out. And then I flip it and then I wedge it up. Okay, but here is one reason why I love berry bowls. You just, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes you try them and you're like, oh, it's fine. But then it's really not. It's like thicker than you think it is. How often can you recycle the same clay? I mean, I've never thrown out clay. I just keep recycling it. But I just use my little knife. And I put a hole in it. What's your favorite trimming tool? Oh, I just love tools in general, so I don't know that I can pick just one. But, like, I can now see my thickness, and I can make it lighter, make it thinner. Except, center that one straight. How was your experience learning with tortoise? Oh, it's a great question. It's a great question, Mary Chewy 18. I've mentioned my experience with tortoise on here before. I mean, if you're a potter, you follow tortoise and you love tortoise, and he's like amazing. And I thought all of those things. I learned a lot. I will say that. I've learned a lot as like what to do and like things to offer and how, what maybe, you know, I learned a lot. Would I recommend, well, you know, who am I to say don't do something? So I would say do it, but how long does it take for clay to dry before you can start trimming or carving artwork? I trimmed through my first bowl last week. Trim happy is a real thing. So it just depends on your studio, how long you have to wait, and like how you wrap your pots, and how thick your pots are, and how thin your pots are, and it just depends on a lot of things. So, like I made these, when did I make these? Saturday? Maybe? Sunday? Saturday. And they're perfect right now. Now this one is, I did have one that got like really dry, so I've wrapped that one really good somewhere because it's really dry. So everything just trims at different times. But like I like that thickness, so now I can put my other holes in. Love these questions. This is why I like going live. I love these questions. I might even just put my feet up while I put these holes in. And I'm not a detail-oriented person. Hey, New York. So my holes are not always perfect, but I try to get them kind of symmetrical. So they're coming. So yeah, Arts in the Park. I keep talking about Arts in the Park. It's coming up first weekend of May. If you're in Richmond, you should totally come. In fact, if you're from Richmond, I bet you've already been. You probably go every year because it's so fun. And I just can't wait. Last year was my first year as an artist there. And I just had a ball. My sister, my family all came out. My friends came by. Got to meet so many people. Got to make a lot of art. Ooh, hey Michigan. Thanks for tuning in live. This is what I would be doing anyways, so it's kind of fun to chat about clay with y'all while I'm doing it. Have you ever listened to the Potter's Cast? Yes, podcast. I was actually on the Potter's Cast. I don't know what episode or anything, but I know I have a link to it on my website. So, a berry bowl. Now, one of my friends said that the holes needed to be bigger, so maybe I'll just listen to her. I don't know if y'all have friends and family that are your biggest critics, and they're like, well, it's good, but maybe you should do this. And then I usually listen to them, and then it's like good. Tips for reglazing. It's what I'm doing right now. You shouldn't really reglaze. Chile, Quebec. It's addicting. And then, guys, y'all know I say sign it like you're famous. Because if not, sign it like you're famous, then why sign it? You've got to like be proud of your work. Just found it. So much info. Oh, you just found what? How did you decide you wanted to make pottery for a job? Why not reglaze? Because once you glaze it once, it's like you glaze it on a bisque pot and it's like a sponge, so it soaks up the glaze. And once you glaze it, it's sealed and it's not soaking up any glaze. So the glaze just sits on the surface. It doesn't really like soak in like that first original one. Now there are people that, you know, leave this here. This is my first variable done. And it's exciting because you can't even see the other colors. But if you saw my post, you can see what the colors are going to come out like. But so yeah. Glazing twice is not ideal. But have I seen it be done before? Yes. What did you use to stain the clay? Mason stains. Just so blueberry can't go through the holes. Hopefully it will shrink and no blueberries will be lost in the using of that variable. So, number 2. So my goal is to get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, about 16, 17 pieces trimmed, and then in the kiln tonight. Potter's cast. Oh, you found the potter's cast. I use mason stains to stain the clay. Just add some color. I love a good question. Will you make a matching plate? Okay, so many people asked about a matching plate. Oh, Brenda Lee, we met at Encinca, didn't we? Hey, I hand build, but want to start throwing. Where's a good place to get a cheap wheel? Ugh, it's like first come, first serve on like Craigslist or like an old art class, that art studio that's getting rid of theirs. But that's hard to find a good wheel. Everybody's looking. Hi Molly, do you use high fire? High fire. OMG. She trims so fast. Well, quick pace, light pressure is, if you go slow, it's kind of harder. So I like a good quick pace and then, you know, be gentle with your pressure. But with the plates, Brenda Lee, it's like, you know, to make a plate is just like making a bowl, but people want to buy a bowl and then they don't want to spend a lot of money on the plate. So it's like, but the plate takes just as much work. So I don't know. And I don't have a plate when I use mine. Do you use a berry bowl plate? Do I need a berry bowl plate, guys? Hi, I'm looking to get a Brent. Yes, I have a Shimpo and a Brent. And the Shimpo just does not go fast enough for me. I just like a good quick pace. And a sharp tool. I just got these new tools I didn't think of. No plate. Okay, good. Because yeah, nobody really wants to buy a plate. Like I made a plate. Actually, if you come to Arts in the Park, ooh, this one's still wet. Somebody asked about drying. This one's still wet, so I can't trim it tonight. But I did make a couple plates. Here's another one. So like once I trim this, like I still had to do all the steps to do this. I'm just not gonna put holes in it. Like I had to wedge it and put the color play. And like if you want that, sure, but I don't even think that looks that cute together, me personally. My mom tells me I need berry bowl plates too, but I just think separates, and if, I don't know. I don't even use a plate. I'm good at not making a plate either. Yeah. You make them in sets, small plate to catch extra water. Right, and I get like the purpose. It's fantastic to meet you, Brenda Lee. I get the purpose of the plate. I just don't think it's necessary. And I have more fun making bowls than plates. So I did make a couple plates. How are you doing it without even looking? Well, I kind of tell people that pottery, it's like a couple of things. But one of the things pottery is like, it's like learning how to tie your shoe when you're a kid. I've thrown blindfold. I have never trimmed blindfolded. But pottery is like learning how to tie your shoe when you're a little kid. And you're like, oh, I need my shoe tied, but you don't know how to do it. And you're like, help, I need my shoe tied. And then you have to wait for somebody who knows how to tie shoes. And then they tie it, and you're like, oh, that was so easy. You did that so fast. You didn't even have to look. And then eventually you learn how to tie your shoe, and then you can do it without looking. Does it bother you that the actual wheel is off center? Something's off center. It's not slowing me down. But good, I love these questions. Muscle memory, yes, muscle memory. So again, this is why now this is where I might have an issue with that off-centeredness, because I'm going to take the bowl off, and I'm going to go ahead and put a hole in it. If I can find my tool. And I'm going to put the first variable hole. So it's Monday, guys. Monday. I don't know where y'all are watching, but it's supposed to be spring, and it's like winter here. Okay, so I just do my first hole, and then when I see it still, then I know its thickness, and I can really get after it. And then sometimes I like to switch to my rounded metal rib tool so that I kind of, I don't want to say fake it, but it kind of blends in the trim tools, but I want to also feel like it's thicker right there. Okay, sets are hard. You get to make them all the same. Yes. What are the tools called that are holding the bowl on the wheel? The Giffin grip. This white thing sitting around, it grips your pot, it centers your pot and grips it and holds it in place so you can trim real fast. New York. Never got the memo that it's spring, right? Oh my gosh, my friends are in New York and they're coming here for spring. Hopefully it'll be spring when they come and not this winter around 5. But yeah, I like the curve of this because it just creates a curve. I didn't do it on this one, but you can kind of see it's not sharp. Hello, Drew Tobin. 8 a.m. in Malaysia. Good morning, Malaysia. Use the scrap pieces you shaved. Yes, so I just recycle them. I recycle them and then they live again. So I was going to make just all blue swirls for Arts in the Park. But then my mom, y'all know she's my biggest critic. My mom was like, well, you should do all colors. So if I do all color, right now all my scraps are blues and whites. I have a little red scraps left over from Valentine's Day. So it's not going to make that pretty of a gray, but if I start using other colors, it'll be a really pretty recycled gray. So yeah, I love trimming. Ooh, questions. Do you have to wear a mask to work with Mason Sains? I would say ask who you get it from. I feel like the answer is probably yes. Does recycled clay throw differently than fresher clay? I mean, I feel like what you can tell the most difference of is how hard or soft your clay is. Not necessarily, well, it's a good question. At school, our recycled clay is definitely a different consistency, but when I recycle my clay, I actually really love it. I love to throw with my recycled clay and work with my recycled clay. What's my best-selling piece? Do you glaze colored pieces in clear? Yes. And then I just feel it. And this one, I can kind of see some scraps on the inside, so I just might. And that's just from trimming it the inside when it was a little wet. Just clean that up. Put the rest of my holes in. Does recycled clay I think we talked about that. Do you glaze and clear? Yes. What's my best-selling piece? Those wall pockets, those Christmas trees, these swirls, berry bowls. Now, when I'm saying all of these are selling, these are when I've had shows. On my website, I don't really have many of those. I don't even have any of those up on my website. I don't have any wall pockets. I don't have any of these blue swirls, I don't think. Love these questions. How do you center your piece to trim on the sticky bat? I'll show you. Stick with me, kid. I'm gonna do the Giffin grip, like all these bowls, and then I have some organic. I have like a couple organic lips. I have a couple vases. I'm just trimming tonight, so I've got to trim through all of them. But right now, I kind of like to do, you know, an assembly line. Like my trimming setup is the same for this. I'm gonna do all of these bowls. Sorry, that might be boring for y'all. And then I will switch, and like, depending on what I'm trimming, I have to center them differently. Hopefully, blueberries won't fall through there. And then, sign it like you're famous. What do you use to dye the clay? Mason stains. Did you say what kind of clay you use? I just use a white stoneware. It's what we use at school. I've never thrown with porcelain, ever. I've never painted with oil paints. I just feel like, you know, I don't know. I like what I like, and I already like this, so I don't really need to experiment. Well, maybe I should experiment more, but I like my stoneware. All right, so now I'm gonna get, I have all my work right here, and it's wrapped in plastic. So here is a bowl. This one's kind of wet, though. Ooh, look at these questions. Okay, do you do sculpture, as in hand building, to change up the technique? Yes, I've just started doing these hand-built serving dishes. I really am excited about. I'm going to do them white with gold accents. But I don't know if you've followed my work or if you've been to my website, but I have this collection, the gold lashes. And I have this new pattern of gold I'm going to do on these like little bud vases and these hand-built things. Can't wait to see you trim the organic lip balls. They're coming. Love white gold. Thanks, Fry Kate. Love those serving dishes. Thank you. I really love, like, my favorite stuff is all my all white servingware, but that doesn't really sell because I feel like if people want all white, they're just going to go to Target, which there's no life in those pots. You can't blame them. Hey, waves. So, Arts in the Park is what I'm making all this stuff for, and I have like 3 weeks, and I've been really overwhelmed because I feel like I haven't had enough time because I want to make like 100 bird baths, and I wanted to make bird houses, and I'm just giving that up. I don't know if any of y'all make bird houses, but I just went back and forth with like, how should they look? How do they need to function? And again, my mom, I know she's probably watching, but she's like, Molly, they need a lid so that you can clean out the nest. Like if birds make a bird nest, they need a lid. So I'm like, okay, a lid. But then they also need to be able to hang, and you can't hang it if it has a lid. And then I was gonna think about putting this wire into the side of like a bottle, like this, like that. Like some people have made birdhouses that's just a bottle, and then they have like a little stick. And some people put a drainage hole in the bottom. But how could you clean this out? So I was a little frustrated because I feel like I've given up, and I don't like to give up, but I think I've given up on the bird house. What's your favorite part of the entire process? I like all of the creating. The glazing, the loading the kilns, the sanding. I could do without that. But I like to throw, I like to center, I like to make it, and then I like to finish it, and I like to sign it. And then after that, I could pass the baton. Because there's a lot to do after that. I don't know if people watching, like, after you do this, and after you sign it like you're famous, and then after you fire it in the kiln, then you have to sand it, and then you've got to get your glaze all mixed up and, like, ready to go, and wax your bottoms. Or clean your bottoms if you don't wax them, or wax and clean your bottoms. And then you load your kiln again, and you got to clean the kiln shells. and then you fire it off, and then once they come out, you sand the bottoms again, and then you photograph. Oh, sorry. Hi, Cleveland. Hello, Molly. I love the colored made of it. What are you making tonight? I'm trimming Trinidad. So cool. I'm trimming a lot of colored clay swirl bowls to be berry bowls and vases and organic lip bowls. Like here, I think I really only have this organic lip bowl. I don't know what song this is. So Blair's not here, so I'm doing my own DJing, which is just Pandora, and that was not a good one. So I'm doing, and then I have some vases, like I just showed y'all this. I'm going to trim, this still feels a little wet. And then I have another couple little vases. So I'm just trimming tonight, I threw this weekend. And I'm trying to get these all trimmed and loaded in my kiln tonight. So then I can hopefully get them glazed and fired, and then do another load, and then another load. I want to do 2 more loads between now and Arts and Park. What is that magical trimming bat? This is a Giffin grip. It just goes right on my belt. And then this thing, the top and the bottom are 2 circles, and they twist and then center your pot for you. Unless your pot's a little off. And sometimes the Giffin grip gets a little off. But Fry Kate, you were talking about, sometimes I just rotate it, about recalibrating the Giffin grip. I've never done that. But also I kind of trim with this like little fade so it's not too noticeable. I guess I should move my finished ones. How do you make colored slip? Colored slip, I've never really made colored slip, but I would assume it's like making this colored clay. And see, that one's already thin enough. I don't have to trim it anymore. But colored slip, just add a little mason stain. Somebody else, I get a lot of messages from people in like Iran, and they know a lot about ceramics, and they use something that's not mason stain. So mason stain is not the only way to color your clay. There's like other scientific dyes and things that you can use. And it's like if it works for you, then it's all that matters. And if it doesn't work for you, then you gotta just try something else. Do you have to trim to reveal mason stain clay? Yes. Trim the entire thing. Now see this one though, I'm nervous to put in another hole because the thickness is different there and I don't like that, but it needs another hole. Use mason stains, yes. See, I need to trim a little more there. Do you ever use a bottle cap to trim? Okay, well, glad that you asked. The diamond core tools, which you know, the Giffin grip and diamond core tools are like my favorite tools to use. They're like so cool and fun. And they gave me this little like cap that you can put on there and trim. I never really use bottle caps, but you know what's really cool about this is, I don't know if you can see, they have different colors, so you can mark out like a thirds, and you just find like the blue. The blue is a third. And if you want to mark out like 6. So that I thought was really cool. So I put that hole there and it just looks thick to me and I don't like that, so I'm just going to trim a little more. And then again, I love this like curved edge because it just blends it right out. So also my students at school are working for a show too. I don't know if any of them are watching. But it's so exciting. Showtime. That's better. So, and then I'll have to come back, and part of the process too is these aren't just done. Like I've got to, before they go in the kiln, which you know what? I might not be able to fire that kiln tonight if I can't trim them all. But anyways, after I put the holes, I come back and clean up all the holes when it's dry, because right now it's a little wet. And it's not so clean. Is there a certain place you like to get your mason stains? Also, is it more capable with certain clays? So, I have only used mason stains, one type of mason stain, on one type of clay. Because it's just what we use at our school, and then I realized I like it, so then I just use it at my studio. I haven't really explored with different clays or coloring the clay because I like it and it works. So this one's a little wet. Okay, here is an organic lip bowl, but I still have other bowls. Let me finish these bowls. And then, oh, that one's still wet too. See, okay, you know that you can't trim it yet if you can put a line and move the clay. I don't know if you can see that. I just put a line. That's too wet. Darn it. I wanted to trim all of these tonight. Okay, so those are wet. That's wet. This one feels good. And this is an organic lip. Do you add water into the mason sands before mixing it into the clay? No, I don't, but you could. No guests tonight. No, it's just me. It's just me. Blair's busy, and so I told our guests, let's do it when Blair can be here, because our guest is our friend. And so we're waiting. All right, so let me see if I can trim these bowls. Because when I start to trim organic lip bowls, it gets a little MacGyver-y over here. And this is a nice setup for just flat bowls. So I just want to see if I can trim any of these. What are mason stains? They just add color. I don't know. I'm sure there's like a more scientific. So this is just white, but this is going to be white and gold. It doesn't have the gold accent. But I think I'm going to make this a berry bowl too, but it's so wet. Okay. So some of these, okay. That's wet. Okay, maybe I'll trim this base because it's dry. So we're not doing the organic lip flavor yet, but I can flip these around and do a base. Do you know when the apron pre-seal is coming? I love you for asking that. That is so cute that you asked that, Fry Kate. I've got to get with my girl, Jackie at Night Owl. These are too big. And these are too little. Oh, these are just right. So this is what's great about the Giffin grip. You can turn that around and then put these little stilts in with little grippy pads. And then you can do something tall. But this lip might be a little off center, so it might wobble around. I just like to always mark my bottom. But this one I might just, you know what? I think I'm just going to make this one without like a little lift. It's just going to trim right to the table. Okay. But anyways, the aprons will be coming soon. I don't have a date. I bet Frank would have joined you tonight. Oh my gosh, Frank totally would have joined me tonight. Don't tell him. Oh, I wonder if he's watching. I feel bad now. All right, so this is a little wonky, mainly because my lip is a little wonky, but I'm just gonna love a good trimming ribbon. I love my ceramics teacher, but I would also love to have the opportunity for you to be my mentor. Oh, hey. Well, I mean, my motto with clay is you can't really have too many teachers because everybody teaches you something. And then you just fill up your toolbox and you have all the tools. And then you go and do your own thing with them. Like I've had lots of teachers. And I try to have as many teachers as I can. So, collect all the mentors you can. So, this is a little too high. So, I'm going to come back to those. Go down a little lower. I love trimming. People do ask what I like the most. And I think it's trimming. And I didn't like trimming until I took a woodworking class. My mom and I took a class on the lathe, and then it was like, oh, I love trimming. Because it's like you take that block of wood and then you shape it down. What other questions? See, I like live because I can answer your questions. I get so many messages, and I try to answer them, but sometimes your questions require a lengthy response. And you know, to type it all out is not as fun as just to tell you. So if you have any questions, now's a great time to just ask me because I can just tell you. But sometimes when I get messages, I feel like my response isn't always very thorough just because I don't want to type a ton. Is that bad? And then I can also like flip this around real quick because, you know, you don't want that to have a seam. I can also feel my thickness. trimming is so difficult for me. I'm taking my second round of beginner wheel throwing class. Well, trimming is challenging. I mean, one throwing with Molly, or somehow I should show you all my first pots, because I did not know how to trim for years. And Blair, my sister, if you watch, she's got some of my earlier pots. And the foot, it's like I took out the foot. I didn't understand. Now I love trimming. It's like creative problem solving all day long. How do you feel the thickness of a tall, you can do this. You can hold it and you feel. And it will tell you where the weight is if you listen. Like this song is awful. Blair, I need you to DJ because Pandora is. So I'm gonna have this one come straight to the table. With y'all. So I still have a lot of thickness down there. So first I'm gonna just take off a little more. And then I'm not gonna like put I call it the donut. I'm not gonna put like the outside on. I'm just gonna take out the inside. What made you realize you wanted to run a pottery studio? Well, so I don't really run a pottery studio yet. That's the ultimate goal, is to open up a community clay studio like the one I teach at. I teach at a high school. So I'm a full-time high school ceramics teacher, and I love it. It's like the best school ever. It's just so supportive of the arts, and it's got a great budget, and it's just great. It's awesome. So I teach there, and my goal, and then I have my studio, but my goal, and I do experiences. Like I can do like 1 or 2 people. I do parties. I think I actually took that off, the party of 4 people, because I like to do it like 1 or 2 people. Here, because I don't have much space. But this summer I'm offering 2 classes at my high school, and their facilities are awesome. So I'm offering on 1 week, I'm doing a morning session, and then I'm also offering an evening session that same week. And it's kind of set up, like I've always been curious. I started to do your tapping. Yeah. Tapping will tell you too. Especially if you have lugs and you don't have the Giffin grip to pick it up and down. But my class is not just Monday to Friday. I'm always curious, and part of why I wanted to go to the tortoise workshop, because I'm like, how does he do it in a week? Because you have to fire and then make it, trim it, fire it, glaze it, fire it. I just got really thin. I don't know if you can see it. I almost like pushed it in, so guess what? I'm just gonna push it. Can you hear this song? But anyways, there's my little foot. Oh, you know what? Because this one is not swirled colored clay, I always like to end trimming, like just the basic clay, with a sponge. As a teacher, how do you come up with new clay projects for students? So, great question. I love a good question. So before this school where I currently teach at, I taught at an elementary school, and like you would have to have lesson plans and like follow the curriculum of the, I don't know, state. And that would get kind of frustrating because you'd have to cover and check these boxes and do different things. But where I am now, I can make my whole curriculum, and it's amazing because I have semester long classes, and then I get a whole new group. I do 3 beginner level classes, and then from beginning, you can go to IB, which my coworker, she was on Throwing with Molly, Amy, she does the IB classes, and she does advanced ceramics and sculpture. And that's like from beginning, you can go to advanced ceramics and sculpture. It's like, I want to go IB. Or you're like, I did beginner, but I don't know if I want to go B. I just want to take more clay. And then I teach those classes too. That's called studio workshop. So in all of my classes, I do it based on the semester. And we always end the semesters with an art show. So like my students have 2 more weeks and then their deadline is up. They have 2 more weeks to make their artwork for their final show. And let me see what else I'm going to trim. So the way I like to do a semester is teach them techniques in the couple first weeks, and then give them a good, as long as I can, to just do whatever they want to do at the end. So see, this lip is a little weird, so yeah, I kind of do it kind of where they're picking what they want to do. So I'm not coming up with it, and I tell them, like, go on the internet and find what you like, because what you like isn't what I like. But in the first couple weeks, I'll teach you techniques and stuff, and then you might use it or you might not. Like my studio classes, we started with a teapot, and I think I'm always going to start with the teapot because it involves every technique. And if they've had that class, because they can take that class over and over again, then their teapots just get better and better. What are you using to dye the clay? Mason stains. I saw the post of your student who had gone on to do ceramic. No, they weren't in college. They were just high school. They switched high schools, I think just for sports or something. I don't really know. And he took my beginning level class, came back, had no idea he was coming, surprised me, visit. It was awesome to see former students. And then I'm like, you probably don't even have ceramics at your new school, do you? And he's like, yeah, we do. And I'm in IB ceramics. I was like, what? That's amazing. You sign your work. Is it necessary? Well, you're an artist and you made it, and if you don't sign it, then how can you claim it? Anybody could have made it. So when you sign it, it becomes yours. Oh, you know what? I didn't really think about this. Let me think. So this one I trimmed, like, it just sits right there. This one, I'm starting to create this, like, foot, and I don't know if I want that. So let me focus for 2 seconds and just look here. Yeah, see, I don't want... That could have been bad, guys. That could have been bad, but it's not. So we're just going to trim this flat. Or not flat, but without a little raised foot. So what else? I love these questions. Oh, and then my beginner students, with those classes, I just try to get through the 6 basic ways to create. The 3 techniques on the wheel, which are bowls, cylinders, and plates. And then the 3 hand building techniques, pinch pots, coils, and slabs. And then once we go over those 6 methods, and like in those we learn about squaring and slipping, but after we do those methods, they're free. And then they tell me what they want to focus on for their show at the end of the semester. So they all pick different things, and then we check in, and I tell them we want to try this, and you know. Do wax the bottoms or clean them? I've done both. It just depends on the foot. If I have a foot like this that's kind of raised, then I would just clean it with a sponge. But if I have a foot like this, I might just wax it. Oop. Do you think it's possible for an experienced potter without a degree to find work? Yeah. Oh, as a ceramics teacher? Private schools, if you have enough experience, I think in private schools you don't have to have a teaching degree, and you can probably go back and get a teaching degree if they need you to, if everything else checks out. I heard that I should be on with you tonight. Well, I know, I'm sorry. I should have invited you. It's very last minute. Oh, hey, Frank. Frank's on. Frank's been drinking out of his mug. That he wants decals on. And that's one collection I've kind of gotten away from. Frank, tell me my feelings are hurt. I think you just did. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I love that you're watching, though. So I'll just feel this. Somebody asked about knowing, and if you hold it, you can feel the weight. This feels good. Feels real good. I'm going to sign it like I'm doing this. What do you use to color your clay? Mason stains. Next week. Oh, goodness. This song, too. How do you wax the bottoms? Do you paint it? Oh, I paint it. And I start at the center, and I paint from the center to the edge. I never go in a circle because I am a mess, and if I were to go in a circle, it would get all down the edge. So I just flick towards the edge. I don't even try to cover it all in wax, but I just try to cover most of the surface area, and then after I glaze, I clean it with a sponge. Good questions. You just find another dry pot. These are all feeling a little on the wet side. Ah, I can do the sticky bat. So we'll come back to the Giffin grip. Okay, so this is a sticky bat. It has a pad on the bat. And this one's, yeah, on a bat. So people ask about these. They're just holes and they go right on my wheel. How do you wax bottoms? Okay, we talked about that. Do you wax them on the wheel or not? Well, that's smart. And you probably could, but I never really get like set back up on the wheel and I don't really want wax everywhere, so I just stand up and do it. So the sticky bat is awesome because you put it on there and it like grips it for you. So cool. So when I trim, I'm gonna make a mark over that foot is, and then I just eyeball it. Or you can actually drop your pin and make a circle so that you know where the centered is. You have a centering line. Do you ever use red clay or just the gray white? I love white, so I just stick with white. Now, if there's a black clay, I'd probably also use that. All right. So I will do, where'd my little line go? Just right here. Holler Blair, wish you were here. Your music is way better than Pandora. I miss you DJing. Ooh, and see, this is fun because look. So you can see where I've trimmed. You can see the swirls coming out, but down there I haven't trimmed, or there might not actually be color there. But like those colors weren't just there. And now they are. Black clay would be really cool. Hello from Brazil. Miss you, boo. Miss you, boo. Blair, I really like your outfit, though. Just kidding. Blair and I, our grandma would used to call us, and we'd say, hey, grandma. Or it was way before caller ID. So we would just say hello, and she'd be like, hey, it's grandma. You look so nice today. I like your shirt. And we're like, how do you know what I'm wearing? So now we like to say it to each other. You're looking good today. Can't see her. But it makes you feel good. Your hair, it looks so good. Go Blair. Black and gold. I bet you want some black and gold. I'll have to look into that, Carl. So yeah, this is trimming a plate on the sticky bat. The sticky bat just grips it so that I don't have to use lugs of clay, so I can trim, all the way down like that. With a lug of clay, I couldn't get all the way down. I'd have to stop, and then I'd have that ring, and nobody wants that. Center to 3, center to 3. Do you ship to the UK? No, I haven't shipped. The only time I shipped out of the United States was when I did the Giffin giveaway, and somebody in Canada won it. And I was like, awesome! I didn't really think about it until I went to the post office to ship it, and it was like, it was a lot. I don't remember. Throwing compliments like you're throwing pots. You know, I can't go wrong with a compliment. So, I'm going to kind of remove the inside here. It's getting a little wonky. Take away a little more here, create kind of like a donut. Would I recommend the sticky bat? Yes. But you know what else I love is I have a sticky pad that this is like everything. It's nice that it's on the, what I like about on this is that when you draw the centering lines and you pick this up and you put it back on, the centering lines stay the same. If I draw centering lines on here, which I've done, and then I pick it up and I put it back on, those lines aren't centered anymore, and they don't wash off that easily. But if you don't need centering lines, then and you're only going to get one, I would recommend and look, then I could put it right side up if I wanted to, and trim this way, because it grips it. It's really nice. It's really nice. But yeah, so I would get the pad, because I use the pad when I'm doing other trimmings, but it can also just go right on my wheel. All right, so now I just want to trim just a little right there, just a little. And then this one will be. So yeah, people wanted berry bowls with plates, but like a plate, it's not like, but they want to pay way less for, like, they want to buy a berry bowl, but then they don't want to buy the plate, but the plate takes just as long. So I have a problem with releasing how much I'd want to charge for a plate, so I'm just not making them. I mean, I'm making this one. I'm making some, let's do it. and then sometimes it slips, but it's okay. That's an excellent policy. Would you recommend this? Is this a plate or a serving platter? This is just a little plate. So it's like little, it fits in my hand. But like this berry bowl, if you wanted a plate for your berry bowl, but I don't even like that look. I think that looks kind of clunky. I use my berry bowl and I just let it drain completely in the sink, and then I eat out of it, or I put it in the fridge, or I serve it on my table. Sign it like you're famous. This is kind of my favorite part. The sticky bat. See, there's my little. I don't know if you can see. I got my little foot. Sticky pad, and the sticky bat. It's on a bat. And they just grip your pot. And before I had the sticky bat and pat, I would use a foam bat, and that's good sometimes, but I really like the sticky pad. Alright, let me clean up a little. I'm losing my tools. Okay, that's done. What else do I have? Oh, the berry bowl, yeah. People love a berry bowl. Is it hard to center on? I mean, I feel like centering is a process. Ooh, I can maybe trim this one. It's a little wet. Centering is a skill that the more you practice, the easier it gets, the more fun it gets. Now see this one, somebody asked how you know, and it's really heavy on this side, so I have a lot to trim there. And I'm thinking the Giffin grip, the stilts will work for this guy. And I need these really, really small ones. So these come out, they have like different size stilts, like really tall ones for taller ones. But this little guy just needs little ones. And then what I'm actually going to do is do it right side up first, because I have a little scratch in it because I'm a mess, and I'm just going to... Sorry, bad noise. So what else? Again, I love these questions because when y'all message me questions, I don't really like to type and write along, but I'll tell you, I'll chat it up with you. Alright, so this one's really thick on the bottom, and I think I actually need these stilts, because if you go too low, it's not supported enough. Just joined in. Yay, thanks for watching, guys. Monday night. So, I'm working for Arts in the Park. My students are working for their show at school. Are y'all working for shows? What are y'all doing? Oh, look, this is like really kind of wonky. Again, this one is really thick, and I think I marked the bottom. Sometimes I just take it off and put it back on, or sometimes this little thing gets stuck. I just tuck it under. Ooh, sorry. This one's just going to be a little like that. My Giffin does the same thing. Yeah, so, I mean, I still love it. I love my Giffin. Do you have all your own pottery in your own kitchen? Oh, good question. And do you get bored with them and make yourself a new set every few months? Oh, I wish I had the energy and time to make myself a new set every... I will say this, I add. So, like, I started with just dinner plates, and then I made a set of bowls, and then I made a set of cups, and then I made a set of, like, the bowls I made were kind of two diagonally, so I made another kind of bowl, kind of like a bowl plate. So I'll add to it. Oh, 5 minutes left. Guys, I didn't even get to the organic lip bowls, to trimming them. But I'm going to be trimming them. I'm going to be trimming them tonight. Mother of all pottery sales this coming Saturday. What are your thoughts on the best places to sell online? I don't know. I don't sell a lot online. I never really advertise my stuff online. I don't really update my current work on my website. I like to do shows in person. But I keep saying I want to focus more on my online sales. I do, because I see a lot of potters killing it out there on the online sales, and I should probably get on board with that. But I like to do it in person because then it's like in a picture. I don't want anyone to ever be disappointed. I want them to feel it and like know it in person, like what they're getting, because it's handmade and it's not going to be perfect. And there might be a flaw, which I think I'm finally coming to terms with. There will be no returns at this Arts in the Park, because I did have somebody return stuff, and it's hard because it's like, well, you picked it out in person, and I'm just an artist. They're not perfect. They're going to have variations and such. So I like it when people can buy it in person. But online sales, I sell on my site on Weebly, and Weebly just updated their website, so when you make a sale through Weebly, you can actually just print out the shipping label on Weebly, which is really nice. You just have to weigh how much your box is and what the dimensions are, and then they already have the customer information, so they know exactly how much it is. Now shipping, also have a hard time pricing out shipping because, one, I know how much the pot weighs, but like I have to wrap it and know how much with all the packaging materials. And then it's like, how far is it going? Because if it's going around the corner, it's going to cost less than if somebody in like Colorado got it, and that's hard for me. Shipping prices. So I like to do them online. Oh, and wholesale. I struggle with wholesale because I'd rather sell my work and not give half of the earnings or the price away for somebody else to do it. But it's always good to have different avenues. Like I have my stuff in some shops that take different percentages. Some are more like galleries, some are more like gift shops. So it is good to diversify. And I do online, and I'm doing shop like sales in person, pop-ups or what have you, markets. I love meeting the people who buy my pottery. Yeah. I feel like picking things up and feeling them is more personal. Yeah. 2 minutes. Oh, thanks, Mom. 2 minutes. Well, guys, thanks for watching all by myself tonight. It actually went by really fast, and it's really fun. Maybe I'll do more throwing of mollies, just featuring your girl. Sell in a store. Do you prefer 80-20 rule? What is the 80-20 rules? Because if that's percentage, I have not found the 80-20 place. Most of my places take 30%, and there's one or two that take 40% if they sell my work. So for them to sell this vase, if I charge 40, they sell it for 40. I'm really only getting whatever that is. So I like to sell in person or on my own website. That's preferable. But it's really nice to have connections with those stores, and usually those stores, I love them, and I love going and shopping in them myself. So I feel honored that they're even selling my work, because all my work is in shops that I really like. So that's fun. See, this one I feel like I could take a little more off, and I feel like I could go a little lower. So guys, thanks for tuning in. I've got like a minute and a half left. I still got a bunch to trim. Not a bunch. But I'm just going to be working. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is fun to chat. Clay, are there any last minute questions? Because I do love y'all's questions, and it's way easier to answer them live than in my inbox, because I'm just not a typer. This has been so fun. Thank you for watching. Guys, thanks for watching, and all the comments and questions. I think I have more fun. I think I'm the one winning. Another live stream, like another one, like right now. Like just keep going. Do you sell things out of your studio also? No, I don't really open up my studio at this point. But my life goal is to open a clay studio, and that would have like gallery space and openings and so forth. See, these are a little short, but I'm still just going to go with it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Oh, but Fry Kate, if you come for an experience, you can shop through all my stuff if you want. Could you demonstrate how to make a clothes form next time? Next time. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Happy week. Happy Monday. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye.